Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little snowflake which I love so much, but I love everything I make, you know. My regulars know that. The newbies who've joined us this week, firstly welcome, and secondly this pattern may be just that little bit difficult for you. However, I do go as slowly as I can through the first few rounds, and at the very last round I really go slow. So newbies, I think, take a risk so that you can have this gorgeous piece for Christmas. Very exciting. All right, now let me tell you a little bit about it. During the tutorial I show you a white one that I made with another cotton, a thinner cotton. I don't have that at the moment because it's washing and blocking as we speak, because at the end of this tutorial I show you how to wash it and use a little bit of wood glue with some hot water so that you can harden your snowflake as well. So like this one hasn't been done, but it's still quite thick, but that's because the yarn is a thick one. It's a 10 ply, which is I think a number 4 overseas. All right, but the other one, the yarn was a lot thinner and it needed some hardening before we have it up on our Christmas tree or before we, you know, hang it somewhere where we want to hang it. Okay, but in the meantime we are going to create this one, and towards the end of the tutorial I will show you how to harden your snowflake. Now for this tutorial you will need your 10 ply cotton, or I'm sorry, if you're going to make the proper one I would use an 8 ply cotton or a number 3 cotton overseas, okay, because this is really thick, okay, and I did this one just so that you can see it because white was very difficult to see online, okay, on the camera there. Anyway, this cotton here called for a 5mm hook, but yours truly use one hook size smaller. If you are using a thinner cotton, use a smaller hook size, one smaller hook size than what it calls for, okay, because this one calls for a 5, I'm using a 4. And what that does is it toughens it up a little bit and makes it, you know, relatively thick and strong, and that's what you want for your snowflake. Okay, so that is what you need. You need your stitch marker, you need a sewing needle because you'll have 2 ends to weave in at the end. You will need your scissors, and after all that is done, you will need some glue. You will need your pins so you can pin down your piece. You will need a blocking mat. If you don't have a blocking mat, just use fold a towel over about 2 or 3 times, and that's just the same. You will need some sort of cling wrap to put over your towel so that you don't damage your towel, because it will have a bit of glue on your piece, or that you don't damage your mat. Now the pins that you use today, be wary, once you use them they're not going to be very good after that because they may have glue all over them, okay, so you may have to throw them out. If you're fussy, if you know how to get glue off, that's great. So make sure when you're using your glue, if you're anything like me and have allergies, make sure you wear gloves and don't let children do this particular piece, just for adults. All right, so there you go. I'm going to let you head off on your own and create your gorgeous snowflake. Good luck, guys. Alrighty guys, with our very first snowflake that I made off air, I used the wren cotton. Now the wren cotton itself, this one here is an 8 ply cotton, which is like a number 3 overseas. So if you've got a number 3 cotton and it's 8 ply, you're going to end up with a smaller snowflake. And you need to use a number 3mm hook. It does call for a 4, right? It does say to use a 4, but to make a very solid kind of snowflake, to keep it nice and firm, you would need to use a smaller size hook, which is what I did. But we're going to move all of this out the way. We're going to use Morris & Sons because it's the only 10 ply I could get my hands on. Now I'm using the 10 ply so that you can get a larger snowflake and you can actually see the stitches, because it's a little bit difficult using the thinner cotton. Okay, now the 10 ply does call for a size 5mm hook, but yours truly is going to use one hook smaller because we want it to be nice and solid. We don't want a flimsy. Let me show you something I tried in some of the Christmas yarn. I started in some of the Christmas yarn. Look at it, it's all flimsy. Yeah, well, we want a nice solid look like whoops, whoops, like that. See how solid that is? And I haven't even used any hardener on it yet. So we're going to start with I'm going to use the gold. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook, 10 ply, which is a number 4 overseas, guys, by the way, if you're from overseas. You'll need scissors, yes, you will. You will need a darning needle for 2 threads, and you will definitely need that stitch marker. Alrighty, guys, we're going to start off with a magic ring or a magic circle or a magic loop, and that's just passing your tail end in front of you, making sure it's pushed further back. You've got 3 fingers there, you're holding your work there, grabbing your working yarn, passing it over your fingers and crossing it over, just forming like a cross. Let's get a nice close-up of that cross right there. Grabbing your hook, popping it under the first loop, pulling that back loop up like so. Now you've got those 2 loops there, you've got to keep that separate, but you're actually holding on to that there, like so. Dropping your tail end and your loop, you're going to chain 3. Now a chain is your yarn over your hook, pull it through to the loop on your hook once, and then twice, and then 3 times. Now you're doing what we call, let me just give that tail right there a little bit of a tug, because that loop is really big, not too much, just a little bit. Okay, because you need all this. All right, we're going to close it up as we go along anyway. Still holding on to everything. Like so. Now, you're going to do what we call double crochet 2 together. Now that's yarn over your hook, pop it in the space that you made, your loop. Now you're going to pull up a loop, and you've got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to do yarn over, pull through 2. Leave these 2 here, yarn over your hook again, pop it back into the loop, pull up a loop. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over your hook, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over your hook, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now before you go on, just lift up a little loop there, grab your stitch marker. Now we finished the 2 together here, okay? So that was our last stitch that we made the 2 together. So right before it, those 2 loops there, you're popping your stitch marker in those 2 loops. You've got 1 underneath and 2 on top. So just pop it into that chain right there, okay? Close it up, and you can use a piece of thread, whatever you want, doesn't matter, doesn't have to be a stitch marker or a safety pin, okay? All right, now we're going to chain 2 again, 1 and 2. Now we're going to do pretty much what we did here, except we are doing double crochet 3 together. So I'll split the yarn. Look at that, that's so naughty. Here we go. Double crochet 3 together, and it's yarn over your hook, pop it in the space, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, hold it there, yarn over, back into the space, pull up a loop. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, hold it there, yarn over, back into the space, pull up a loop. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops on the hook, and that's double crocheting 3 together. So it can be a little bit technical for newbies. Just give that tail end a little bit of a tug, but you can do it. I'm sure you can. Okay, I have faith in you. All right, now you are chaining 2, 1 and 2, and we are crocheting over that tail end because that's going to help us to tug it later and make it magic, if that's the word you want to use. Now yarn over, you're going to do another one of these 3 togethers. Now you need 1, 2, and you need 6 of them, so we've got 4 more to do. Okay, so pop your hook in, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, back in the space, pull up a loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through 2, back over, in the space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You should have 4 loops left on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, chain 1 and 2. All right, into the space, we're doing it again. Okay. Don't split the yarn like I just did there. And again. Okay, there you go. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 2 more. But first we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And let's do 1 more in there. Yarn over, into the space. Yarn over, back into the space. Okay, chain 1 and 2. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got the last set to go in, and in you go. Whoops, whoops, I've just split the yarn there. Well, dearie me. Let's try that again. 1 more. Pull the loop through. Chain, whoops. Chain 1 and 2. Grab that tail end. Okay, what you're going to do now, I'm going to bring this out so you can see. There's your working end. We'll move it out the way so you know what I'm doing. Grabbing your tail end, and all you're doing is pulling that tail end, right? And what that's doing is, it's doing what I call magic. It's not really, it's just closing it up. All right, so there you go. Now we are going to slip stitch into that very next stitch right there. So pop your hook into the stitch where your stitch marker is, and I think I might have split mine. Let's see. Oh no, it's just the way I put it, the stitch marker. You can take it out when you pop the hook in, just because you're already in there. And pull that loop through there. And pull it through to the loop on your hook. And that's what you should have so far. All right, from here, you should have a stitch right there. See the little V? These are stitches here, across here. Hop into that very next stitch you see there. Pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. We are slip stitching to get over into that center. And the next space you have right there, you're going to pop your hook in, pull a loop through, and pull it through the loop on your hook. And all you've done there is slip stitched into the space so you can start your pattern. Now chaining 1 and 2. Now in that second stitch right there, I would actually pop my stitch marker in now. Okay, a little bit fiddly this round, but not completely tricky. In the same space, you need to pop in 1 double crochet. That's yarn over your hook, pop it in the space, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, now your next stitch is called a treble. Now a treble, by the way, I'm using US terminology if you're interested. A treble is when you wrap the yarn around your hook twice, and then you pop it in the space, pull up a loop, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, from here you chain 1, 2 and 3, and leave these chains, don't make them too tight, okay? Don't make them too loose either because they look terrible, but don't make them too tight because we're going to put our single crochets in those chains on the next round. Now we're going to do another one of these trebles, yarn over your hook twice, pop it in the space, pull up a loop, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And now we'll do a double crochet. Yarn over your hook, pop it in the space, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And your final stitch in this space will be a half double crochet. That's a yarn over your hook, in the space, pull up a loop, and you've got 3 loops. Now with this one, you're putting yarn over your hook, you're putting your yarn all the way through the 3 loops. Okay, so what you're forming is a very tall stitch. Okay, now the very next set that we do here, this is going to be the repeat pattern. So you'll do the set there and you'll do exactly the same in there, in there, in there, and in every chain space you come to. So yarn over your hook, we're going to start off with a half double crochet, pop your hook in the space, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to do a double crochet, yarn over your hook, in the space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now we're going to do that tall stitch, the treble. Okay, so it's yarn over once and twice. Into the space, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, middle 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Get it right, Mary. Now, your chains that you do in the middle, always chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't do them too tight, yeah? Now you're going to do another treble. Yarn over twice. Pop it in the space, pull up a loop. 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, middle 2, and again the last 2. I keep forgetting that, don't I, with those trebles. And we're going to do a double crochet, and you know how to do those, okay? And then we're going to do a half double crochet, and you know how to do those as well. So now what you've done right there, you just have to repeat in all of your chain spaces. So if you are an intermediate crocheter, go ahead, get to the end of this near the stitch marker, and I'll meet you up. But for the rest of us, we'll just keep going straight into the very next space with a half double, and then a double, 2 and 2, then a treble in the space, 2, 2 and 2. Then you're chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3. Don't do them too tight. You will, have to use them in the next round for sure. 2, 2 and 2, and then you've got your double. Okay, 2 and 2, and your half double is, okay, right there, like so. All right, I hope I'm not making too much noise here, guys. We've got some noise in the background. We've got 3 people working in the house today, so I hope it's not too noisy for you. I'll pop that music in the background just so that it can blank it out, but I do apologise in advance. Alrighty, so the next space, you're going to do the exact same thing yet again. Half double and the double. Yes, you know how to do these now. Yarn over your hook twice to do your treble. Yeah, very tall stitch, that one. And then you have your chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Not doing those too tightly, I hope. Yarn over twice, doing a treble. All right, and now your double. And your half double. And then you're going to jump into your very next space with a half double, double, treble, 1 and 2 in the space, yarn over, 2 and 2 and 2, and then you're chaining 1, 2, 3, again not leaving them too tight. Yarn over your hook twice, you're going to do a treble. There, there, and there. And then a double. 1 and 2. Then a half double. Just go through all 3 loops. Like so. You have 1 more space left. Okay. So you're going to start off with your half double. Double. Treble. I'm sorry, am I singing? Oh, I do that, don't I? Sorry, guys. Chain 3. 1, 2 and 3, keeping it loose. Yarn over your hook twice. Pop it in your space to do your treble again. Okay, and then your double. And your last half double for the round. We have to slip stitch to join, so it's still separated. You want it to join like this. So what you're going to do is just grab your hook. You're not putting yarn over anything. You're just grabbing your hook and you're popping it in the stitch where you put your stitch marker in. It's nice and tight for me. Take that stitch marker out. All right, and just pull a loop through there, and then you pull it through to the loop on your hook, and you have slip stitched to join. All right, from here you're going to slip stitch into the very next stitch. I'm going to give you a nice close up of this part. Now this is a tricky round, guys, so if you are new, take your time. Okay, so pop your hook in that next stitch with a slip stitch, pulling your loop through like so. Now chain one and single crochet in the same stitch, and a single crochet is just popping your hook in that same space that you're in, pull up your loop, and you've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, now I forgot to put the stitch marker in, so I better do that. Pop your stitch marker in there like so. Oops, butterfingers today. All right, now this treble stitch we have right here, we're going to pop a single crochet in that treble stitch right there. All right, now in that same stitch we're going to form a picot. Now a picot is definitely not a beginner's stitch, so if you're not sure what you're doing here, I'll tell you another way of doing it. But firstly we'll chain 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now see this loop here and the loop, without splitting the yarn there, and the loop next to it, they're side loops. Yes, you're going to pop your hook in those side loops, grab a thread, pull it through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. That's called a picot. Now if you're new, I will show you in the next section what to do if you're struggling with that. Okay, now here's where I said to you, you need to make sure these stitches are loose because you're going to be putting single crochets in them. So the first, and this is what you're looking for, your V, 1V, 2V and 3V. Yeah, so in your first V that you come to, pop your hook in and do a normal single crochet. Now in your next V, you're going to do it again, but this one is the center of your chain space. So you're going to do your single crochet like normal there, but you're also going to do another one of these picots. Now before we do a picot, I'm going to show newbies how to do another version of the picot. All you're doing is chaining 1, 2 and 3, and then you're going to just go back in the same stitch with a slip stitch. So you're pulling a loop through and then pulling it through to the loop on your hook. Still very fiddly, so you're actually better off doing the picot. Whoops, I've just lost my single crochet. Let me finish that off. Oops, oops, I'm doing well. Split the yarn, I'm doing all sorts of nasty things here. So I'm just going to pop that single crochet back in there for a minute. All right, so now we are in the center of our chain space. We're going to chain 1, 2 and 3. And then those 2 loops right there, we're going to pop our hook in there, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Notice how I hold everything with my thumbs. Okay, next stitch is right there. See that next V? It's a little bit tight, but it is there, and you need to put a single crochet in that V right there. We're still in the center. Okay, and your very next single crochet is your tall treble stitch. Do a single crochet there. Oops. And once again, you're going to do a picot. 1, 2 and 3. Pop your hook through the side loops there. Pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Now let me show you what you've done before we continue. You have done a picot around the top section of your corner piece, which is that. That's what you've done. Alrighty, now from here, from where we are at this picot, you are jumping straight into your very next V. All right, right there with a single crochet. Now you've got that stitch and that stitch there. I want you to do slip stitches in both. Now a slip stitch is just pop your hook in the first V, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. You're going to do the same with the next stitch, which is right there. That's your next V, yeah? Pull the loop through. Now you've got these last 2 stitches. One is going to be a single crochet right there. The other will be a single crochet as well, but it will be also a picot. So 1, 2, and 3. Let me get you a nice close up right here. You are passing your hook through the side loop of that one, side loop of that one there. Pull your loop through and pull it through the loop on your hook, and that's your picot. Okay, now you're going to jump into, remember our chains here. There's your first one. This is why I asked you to keep them nice and loose. Single crochet in the first one and a single crochet in that second one. Yes, but in this one here we are also doing our picot. All right, this is our very, very top picot. Okay, so that is 1, 2, and 3. Some people actually chain 4. I've always done 3. Pass your hook down there and down the other one. Pull your loop through and pull it through the loop on your hook. If you wanted to do 4, you are welcome. I actually have only ever done 3, but there you go. It doesn't really matter. And then you are popping your, oh, this one's really tight. Came across a tight one. Oh, it's not too bad, it's getting there. Popping a single crochet in your very next chain, tight chain. All right, and then you've got your treble stitch there. You're popping your single crochet in the treble, plus you're doing your picot. 1, 2, and 3, and picot down the sides there. There, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Then you've got that very next stitch there. You need to pop another single crochet in that next stitch, just 1. And remember these 2, 1 and 2, the 2 little V's here. I need you to do slip stitches in those. Slip stitch 1, slip stitch in the middle stitch right there. And then you should have your 2 stitches left here, and 1 is a single crochet. And 1 is a single crochet also, but it's a picot. 1, 2, and 3, and you are popping your hook through those side loops to finish off your picot. Okay, and again you are popping your hook in the first chain that you come to, and you are doing a single crochet, and then you're doing a single crochet in that middle stitch right there. And of course the middle stitch has a picot. 1, 2, and 3, popping it down the side loops there, pulling a loop through and pulling it through to the loop on your hook. It's almost like doing a slip stitch, just angling it a little bit, okay? Then you need to pop, oh, this one's tight. It's always the last one that's tight. Here we go. You need to pop a single crochet in that last chain in your corner. Then you're popping a single crochet in your treble stitch. And what you're going to do here, picot, 1, 2, and 3, and passing it through your side loops, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. All right, so I'm sure you're getting the picture, but your next stitch is right there. You're doing a single crochet in that next stitch. Then you've got your 2 middle loops, your 2 middle stitches. You're going to slip stitch 1 and slip stitch 2. Okay, and again you've got 2 stitches left there. You're going to do a single crochet in one, single crochet in the other, picot, 1, 2, and 3. All right, and then you are doing your single crochet in your next stitch right there, single crochet in your middle stitch. Oh, this one's tight. And then picot, 1, 2, 3. Pass your loops down your side stitch to finish off your picot. Okay, single crochet in that nice tight last stitch, which is always tight for me. I hope yours isn't as tight as mine. And I kept telling you guys before to make those stitches nice and loose, didn't I? Should practice what I preach. And in the last 2 stitches here, you need to put 1 single crochet and a picot, 1, 2 and 3. Finish off your picot. And then a single crochet in your next stitch. Remember those middle stitches? We are slip stitching 1, slip stitching the second one, and we are single crochet in your first, single crochet in your second, and now you are forming your picot 1, 2 and 3. So it's just a repetitive, fiddly stitch, but it is repetitive. All right, and single crochet in your very first chain of that corner, and I've split the yarn, of course I have. There you go, single crochet in your very last, let's try middle stitch there, and whoops, and picot 1, 2 and 3. Pass your picot in, pull a loop through, and there you go. Now you pop your last single crochet in that chain space stitch there, and then you pop your single crochet in your first stitch, and you do your picot 1, 2 and 3. And then a single crochet in your next stitch, and of course these 2 middle stitches we're going to do our slip stitches, 1 and 2. In your next stitch you are doing a single crochet, and then another single crochet, picot 1, 2 and 3, passing your hook through to finish off your picot. Best part, guys, look at this. Oh, we're nearly at the end. Yay. Now you are popping a single crochet in your first chain of that corner, your single crochet in your middle stitch, including your, oh, I split the yarn. Yes, I did. Excuse me. Good on you, Mary. There and there. Okay, we're in now. Oh dear. Here we go. And now picot 1, 2 and 3. And you just pop your hook through those 2 side loops for the picot. And then single crochet in your last chain. Oh, that's a nice loose one there. There we go. And then you put a single crochet in your stitch with your picot 1, 2 and 3, and you're slip stitching through there and through to your top loop there. Now you do 1 more single crochet in there, then you do, notice how we came over here and we slip stitched in here. We're going to slip stitch into our first, like that, and we're not going to slip stitch in there because we already did that. What I want you to do is actually grab your hook, pop it in your stitch marker stitch, pull the loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, take the stitch marker out before you finish off because that's going to annoy you. Okay, and then just pull up a loop, grabbing your scissors without cutting your work. I nearly cut my work then, did you see that? All right, so now giving everything a bit of a tug, just a little bit of a tug, and pretty much what you have, oh, let me grab the other one, I've thrown it too far, there, that's what you have. That is just a larger version of this one because I use the thicker yarn, okay? And if you notice, the thinner the yarn, the better it looks. I mean, that looks lovely, don't get me wrong, but this actually looks better, okay? Now I just added a thread before so I can get some photos outside, but you don't need to do that. I'll take that off for now. And the photos didn't work anyway, so there you go. I'll have to do it again later. So what we're going to do just quickly is weave in these ends. Why? Because we have to. Sorry guys, it's a part of it all. Okay. Threading your needle without splitting the yarn like I almost did. Now this might be a little bit difficult with this needle because this is really thick cotton. I mean, cotton's hard to thread at the best of times anyway. It's hard to weave, I mean, at the best of times anyway. Making sure you're popping, gosh, I'm not even in screen. Let's try that. Okay, you're popping your needle through the back of your work. This is the bottom one we're doing, okay. I just assume everybody knows what I'm doing here. Pulling your needle through and just giving it all a tug. Now, because it's thick, I'm not going to weave this one in much. This one here was quite thin, so I had to weave that in a lot. So I'm just going to go one way once. Oh yeah, if I can get it in. And then go back the other way a little bit more. Like, you know, maybe two more, I think. One. And then just another one. Always making sure you can't see your needle on the front, and you can't. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're going to cut that one. Now with the other one, it's a little tricky, but with this pattern, it's not too bad. You can actually leave, a lot of people don't leave the little knot you see there. See that little knot there? A lot of people don't leave it because they don't like it. But with this pattern, it's okay. You can't tell because it's very lacy. Okay, so rethread your needle with the with your last thread. Now having a look here. All right. See, there's the little knot that people don't like to see, but again, with this pattern, like I said, it's okay. This is the wrong way, face the wrong way to you, grabbing your needle and popping your needle through the back of a stitch the stitch you just finished there. So your needle goes in through the back of half the stitch at the back, like that. Going down the back. So what happens is when you do that, you pull it, it closes that knot up there. So it actually looks like the rest. So by the time you give it a tug like that, and you start weaving it in through other threads at the back. Now I just go down, let's see if I can show you closer. So what I do is I just go down some stitches as low as I can go, and then giving it a big tug, and it kind of locks it all into place, okay? Then I go down further, a little bit more, until I end up where there's a cluster of those double crochet 3 togethers, if that's a word we can use. Oh, this is not the right needle to sew in cotton. But anyway, making sure you're checking your front, you can't see the needle. I just know what I'm doing, so I don't tend to check. All right, and we're going back the other way, like so. So go one way, go back the other way, and you know what? You're done. Seriously, guys, you are done. All right, so there you go. Now, there's one and there's two. Yes? So as I mentioned in the promo, I'd like to harden this a little bit. I mean, it's already hard enough because we used a smaller hook, but I'd like to quickly show you a way of hardening it. And when I say quickly, I mean quickly. Give me 1 second. Alrighty guys, like I said, I'm just going to do a really quick tutorial here. So what you will need is a blocking mat right here with some wrap on it, just because you don't want to damage your mat. You will need some, you know, pretty hot water. This is an old cup I'm using just in case I end up with glue in there. And here's a really old bowl that I'm going to pop the glue in. I'm talking really old. Look how old that is. It's older than my children. My adult children. And I'm actually using wood glue today. Now a lot of people say that the wood glue is better, so I'm going to try it with wood glue and see how we go. Normally I use a PVA glue, but it doesn't really come out too well. So what you're going to do, you're going to pop a tablespoon of water, warm water, in your tub, your little bowl, and you're going to pop a tablespoon of glue, maybe a little bit more than a tablespoon, just that little bit more, because you need more glue than water. And then you're just going to stir it up. Yeah, that's all you're going to do. Stir, 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 stir. You might need a little bit more glue. See how watery that is? It's a little bit too watery. Oh no, that'll be alright. That'll be good. Alright. Alrighty guys, as I suffer from allergies, I just popped some gloves on so I can pop my hands in that water in a minute. Pop that on the placemat there. Alright, now what you do is you just grab your little piece right there, pop it in, swish it around in there, swish, 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 swish. And it doesn't matter, make sure you cover the whole thing. Doesn't matter if it's saturated, you want this part to be saturated. Okay? You want it to be so saturated that you really have to squeeze it out later, alright? So let's give it a big squeeze. Really big squeeze. Okay, this is why I'm using the gloves, because you don't know, you could be allergic to the PVA glue and you just don't want to break out an allergy. That's squeezed out enough, all right? So what I'm going to do is pop that container there. I'm going to come around the other side to do this part here, guys. So here we are on this side. I'm just going to grab some pins, and really all you need to do is find the points and pin it down. There's nothing fancy about this part. Oh, look at the mess I've made of the glad wrap. Okay, so find the main points, pin it down, and if you want, you can go through to all the picots and pin all the picots down if you like. If you think that that would help, then that's fine. As long as you let it pin there, and you need to let it sit there, I don't know, I would say overnight. Sorry if I'm blocking off the light, guys. There's no other way I can do this. Oh gosh. Okay, I've popped about 7 million pins on the board now. And I only really need a few. Alright. Yeah, I think I might pop mine on the picots, on all the picots. That way they sit nicely. And gives me an opportunity to fix it. Okay. Let's get another pin, put this picot over here. Now you can pop them on all the picots if you like. I actually would if I was you. I'd pop them on all the picots. I'm not going to. My thread was actually quite, this is not working now. It's not going in, is it? There you go. My thread was actually quite thick. It was quite a hard thread, so I'm not going to worry too much about it, but I am going to stretch everything out. Okay. And tomorrow is our live. I'll be able to show you in the live, because this should dry overnight, we hope. And I'll be able to show you in the live what it looks like, all right? Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and do all the, I hope I'm not yelling at the camera now, and do all those wonderful things you do for me. And all I want to say right now is, ciao for now. Bye.